So you've seen the headlines, the protests, the cries of no kings from the woke elite. They stand there virtue signaling, pretending to be revolutionaries. But let's be honest, folks, this isn't about monarchy. This is about something far more pathetic and, frankly, unpatriotic. Today, we're going to expose the laughable reality behind these no kings rallies and show you the true agenda of the radical left. So let's talk about who actually is showing up to these things. Are they the salt of the earth patriots who built this nation? I don't think so. Are they the hardworking men and women who truly understand freedom? No, I don't think so. Or are they, as we suspect, the usual suspects from the radical progressive playbook? Look at the total lack of diversity in this group, and I'm talking about thought. They want one line of thought. They don't have room for anything but their agenda, their thoughts. They focus on superficial issues, like Donald Trump becoming king. What a freaking joke. You know what it is? They keep going further and further in their nonsense because nothing works and nothing sticks. And they just have a total lack of understanding of history and what actual monarchies are. Now, the media is going to tell you the crowds were tremendous, but here are two relevant questions. How many people didn't attend a rally? Well, let me give you an example here in Louisville. The greater Louisville metropolitan area is about 1.2 million people, and it was the only rally in the state in between here and Indianapolis, and they had maybe 2,000 people here. So we're talking about not very many people from a very large pool, and I think that's true around the country. How many people did not attend those rallies? And of those who did, how many of those people voted for President Trump? None. So what was their purpose? What were they trying to achieve? Who were they trying to convince? You know, it's not about crowns. It's about control. Here's where the pathetic truth comes out. They scream no kings, but who are they really rallying against? Is it some dusty old European monarch? Or is it the very idea of traditional authority and God-given rights and American exceptionalism? This no king slogan is simply a smokescreen for attacking traditional values and institutions. You know, think back to the cancel culture that we all endured, big tech censorship, government overreach. It's the same people. It's the same folks who were behind all of that. It's the woke left that wants new kings who dictate thought, speech, and behavior. They don't want no kings. They want to be the kings. Now, this is pure and simple hypocrisy. It's breathtaking. They decry kings, yet they bow down to their own chosen monarchs, the unelected billionaires, the Hollywood elites, the radical professors who preach division and victimhood from their very ivory towers. Think about the lavish lifestyles of these progressive influencers. You know, they're going to hop on their private jets and fly to a conference on climate. What about the common people they claim to represent? I don't know very many common people, hardworking people who go to work every day to support their families who are in this movement. You know, they're willing to silence dissent while claiming to champion freedom. If you recall, the Biden administration established an office for the very purpose of finding what they term to be misinformation, to eliminate it from social media. And, you know, look at their flaws and their excesses. Where do they get their moral authority? I'm not sure they have that moral authority. Now, while they're busy playing revolutionary dress-up, real Americans, real patriots are focused on what truly matters, securing our borders, strengthening our economy, and putting America first. We don't need no king's rallies. We need more common sense, more individual liberty, and more respect for our founding principles. Look at the difference between MAGA's focus on tangible issues, real issues that affect real lives, and this performative bull stuff like a no king's rallies. It's amazing to me that these people fall for this stuff, but there are plenty out there who do. Thank goodness 77 million of us didn't in November. You know, MAGA believes in personal responsibility and self-reliance as the way to freedom. These people want the government to hand them everything, but where's the government going to get its resources? Oh, that's right. It's the oligarchs, the billionaires. You know, we have to step up. We have to support conservative values and conservative candidates. We cannot afford to lose the House and the Senate in the upcoming midterms. So, listen, the next time you see a No Kings rally, remember the pathetic truth. It's not about monarchy. It's about control. It's a radical agenda disguised as righteous indignation. Don't fall for their delusion. Stand up for truth. Stand up for freedom. Stand up for America. Take a look at this clip from Sky News in Australia and how they talk about the No Kings rallies, and drop a comment.
Now, Donald Trump, on his 79th birthday, no less, has flexed the United States military muscle on the streets of Washington, D.C. with a parade to celebrate the US Army's 250th anniversary. Now, he had this idea during his first term, apparently, so he's finally managed to pull it off. And the president praised US soldiers who've served and issued a message about the hope for the future of America.
America stands tall, America stands proud, and America stands free. We're the hottest country in the world right now, and our country will soon be greater and stronger than ever before.
But while that celebration of the US was going on the other side of the country in Los Angeles, you had more of this rioting that we've seen all week. This time there have been protests across the country under the banner of No Kings, which is apparently meant to mean that no one is above the law. I don't know, they think Donald Trump is going to make himself the king or something. Would be a strange thing for a Republican to do, but never mind. Logic doesn't come into these matters. Sky News First Edition host Pete Stefanovic was there as the LAPD attempted to force crowds from the city streets.
Well, the police have given protesters fair warning that they would move on them by launching tear gas. They've launched flash bombs and flash grenades as well to try and disperse the crowds.
Keller, it's been a terribly unedifying scene in the United States this week, all because the president decided that he would, apply the law.
Not only did he decide that, he decided this about a year ago, and he said it again and again and again on the campaign trail. So all the way through the campaign, he said, I'm going to close the southern border, stop the illegal immigrants, and I will deport the ones who are here. And most of America said, yeah, we'll vote for that. So this is democracy, in a sense. Now, we mustn't get this out of proportion. There are good pictures coming out of the demonstrations, protests, riots, call them what you will. And because there are good pictures, they get lots of coverage on television. I worked out years ago when I was working in television news, you only needed two things, bad news and good pictures. And this is it, bad news and good pictures. So it gets covered a lot. But that doesn't mean it represents America. The word people keep using is divided America. That always creates the mental image, there's half on this side and half on that side, which is rubbish. There's maybe 10 or 20% who have a Trump derangement problem and hate everything he does and have decided not that they're in favour of illegal immigrants, but they will be now because Trump's against them. And not that they're in favour of burning police cars, but they'll do it now because they want to upset Trump. That's all. The rest of America, 80, 90% of America, they would have looked at that military parade. They would have felt proud of being American, really happy with the way the country's going and it's on track. So by all means, keep using the word divided, but it's a tiny sliver on one side and it's the vast majority of Americans on the other.
Well, I wonder, Evelyn, how many of these people at these rights actually care at all about illegal immigrants. I mean, it's basically just an excuse to protest against Donald Trump. And much like Black Lives Matter, it would seem that there is a lot of money being put into this by various forces to encourage civil unrest. And of course, you have Gavin Newsom during the week, the governor of California, saying this is the civil war that Donald Trump wanted. I don't think it's Donald Trump who asked for all of this. I think it's nefarious forces that have taken this as an excuse, ICE going in to deport illegal migrants, as an excuse to create civil unrest that they then try to pin on Donald Trump.
Without doubt. And you know, Kel hit the nail on the head. I think it is a very small portion. I think it's people who are very anti-American. I mean, they hate their own country. I mean, and the irony is that majority of the people who are in these crowds were the perpetrators of getting, you know, the human rights violations cracked down with the law during COVID. So the whole irony is lost on them, though. But, you know, they are so starved of oppression over there that they have to invent it and make it up just so that they have a cause. It's their entire identity. It's like that meme that you see on the internet where it's that robot guy and you just put a microchip in his brain of what's the next social justice cause to take, you know, offence with. Because like I said, they literally live in one of the most prosperous nations in the world. They've got nothing to worry themselves about. So they've got to make it up. And you know what, if it's not about them, well, I'll use the, you know, legal deportations as their next cause. It's honestly pathetic, to be honest, but very predictable.